incredible story.
Saw Robert Shaw give his famous speech. I said to myself, that would make an incredible movie.
I always liked stories based on true events and historical events.
Captain, right here? Right there?
Am I understood?
Yes, sir!
It's about real people's lives.
Thanks, boys.
It's about an event that never really got the recognition it should.
I think that you have everything in this story. You have sacrifice, you have honor, you have commitment, you have men against themselves, men against nature. The justice of man that is not perfect. I decided with my writing partner to really write a screenplay that is showing the facts.
Did he tell you that he wrote the screenplay?
I did. We wrote it together.
Because it's a very unique story.
I thought it was an important story.
We took our time and really did a lot of due diligence and research regarding the story. We wanted to make it as authentic as possible.
And it took us 5 years to do that. We went through over 200 versions of the screenplay. It's a constant work.
Richard is a very strong producer, which is great because he makes sure that everything is done on time and on budget.
The next step was to secure a director, a strong director that was a great storyteller and smart man. I had worked with Mario and Peebles on a smaller project. A very unique man, very charismatic, but also a great storyteller and very articulate, very sensitive. He fell in love for the project.
And he just had such a great take and had such passion for it.
And what he wanted to achieve was what I wanted to achieve.
Creatively now, who do we want to do it with? Always been a fan of Nick Cage. Nick Cage and I acted together in Cotton Club. I had a little teeny role, he had a much bigger role. And I'd been wanting to work again with Nick for a while, and Richard Rionda has talked to me about his experience working with Nick and how he thought Nick would be right for the captain. I sort of got it right away because he's got that sense of command. He's also got this wicked sense of humor. He's also super professional and on the ball that way.
This is Andrew. How do you do, Andrew? Very happy to meet you.
Well, Nick Cage has navigated this, and it's not by luck. He's been around, and he's paid his dues, and like me, you know, he's still in the game, and we're like, this is the one. Let's work together on this.
One of my dreams, or my first love, is the ocean. And my dream has always been to do a movie that took place at sea, and I haven't been able to get that to happen yet. I almost did a picture with Ron Howard called The Sea Wolf. That didn't work out. I almost did The Perfect Storm. That didn't work out. So I was like, I'm really frustrated. You know, I want to play Captain Nemo in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I've got to get on the water. And Richard said, well, it just so happens I have a script.
When I told him more and more about the story, he did some research and fell in love. And so soon after we reached an agreement, and I had my star.
If the captain's here, what about all these guys in the water? What about the men? Well, here's the thing. The truth is, those guys were young. They were 18 years old. Some had lied and were 17 years old. Some were 23 years old.
Down, 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 down!
You know, we got Nick doing it, and he's great. He's going to kick ass with this role. Let's see if we can get a young, talented cast to play the sailors, and we did.
I decided to go for fresh talent, young talent, that were passionate about it, and give them a chance. So we received 7,000 submissions, I believe, and auditioned over 500 or 600 young men and actors and actresses. And out of that, we picked 30. Then I went to a few actors that are friends of mine, Tom Sizemore, Thomas Jane, James Remar, for a few parts. We casted the film.
So Rich said, perfect, you can fly the plane. Play Adrian Marks, who rescues our men at the end, and it's a great part, you know. Adrian was a great guy.
You know, usually you edit the movie and you're going through the movie, and there's always one performance that you're like, we could have done better. Man, the performances are good.
I bet McWhirter felt like the war is over. I'm a father. I love my wife. I'm going back to the greatest country in the world.
Our luck will hold. As long as we have our little white devil piece here, she's our good luck charm.
One of the things that they did with this movie that was really, really smart and clever, they scheduled the film in such a way that we filmed the water scenes first.
It really is blind. Garrison, you can't find no damn light? I got it. Man. I should have got Denzel. Denzel knows how to hit this damn light.
We've got these cast members that came in, all these people, Cody Walker, Matt Lanter, Johnny Wachter, Craig Tate, Shamar Sanders, all these great actors. They spent 2 weeks on the water together. And now they're filming the scenes where they're buddies and they're out in San Francisco or they're on the ship. And they are buddies now because they've been through something.
It really got us there. We weren't in a tank. We were in the ocean, salt water, real waves, an uncontrolled environment. And it brought it. I mean, it helped us all just bring it.
We have to replicate men who were spending months, years together on the same ship, so they knew everything about each other. You know, they would get to the point where their best friends who were on the ship would start to annoy them, and then it would come full circle, and that would bring them closer. So we've been spending so much time together, even when we're offset, trying to get to that point.
It comes across on screen so beautifully. You can tell these guys love each other.
They saw Nick as their captain, as their leader on set, and that mirrored what they did off the set, and that mirrored the respect that he had with them, and the command that he has, and this sense of unity with them. And there's a beginning piece that I like when Nick first talks to his crew, and he says, for those of you that are new on board, I'm your captain.
Without me, you are worthless. You are my crew. And without you, I am worthless. Our success, our very survival, is contingent upon our functioning together as one cohesive unit.
That's the only way we'll survive this.
Am I understood?
Yes, sir!
And it's a hell of a challenge for this captain to have with, in essence, you know, a lot of new guys, a lot of new kids, and the responsibility of that and the emotional weight of that.
The way I first heard about the story of the Indianapolis was the classic monologue that Robert Shaw gave in Steven Spielberg's Jaws, his wonderful blockbuster. And I was so impressed at the drama that Shaw was able to convey just with his words. He put me in the ocean with those sharks, and the way he would talk about the screams of the other sailors, and the way he ended it with, well, anyway, we delivered the bomb. I mean, that had a huge impact on my psyche as a young man going to Jaws, and I wanted to learn about it, wanted to know about the tragedy.
Sharks are a very important part of the story. Not that we want to do a film based on sharks, it's not the case, but when you listen to all the survivors and their testimony, sharks were everywhere, all the time, for 5 days and nights.
Being on a raft and then see someone getting pulled down next to you by a shark, or we don't even know it's a shark at that point. We just see somebody gone.
My name's Walt Conti, and I have a company called Edge Innovations, and we're providing the animatronic sharks for this feature. So, of course, since the days of Jaws, technology's improved like leaps and bounds. This tool basically is not just a piece of a shark, but it's an entire shark that can swim. So now you can shoot it as if it was a real shark. It allows much more flexibility in how you kind of shoot the thing. But again, it's about telling the story of that. It's not about the hardware.
I thought it was real. It even has a little bit of blood in its mouth already. Even the way it swims is so close to a real shark. I don't know how they built it.
They kept the real sharks away by using this fancy sort of like electromagnetic field technology.
It affects the electrosensors in their nose, makes them very uncomfortable. This allowed us to film safely in open ocean without any incident, any dangerous marine life.
We're doing the visual effects for the movie USS Indianapolis.
The mechanical shark had cables that were attached to it. It could swim around, could open its jaw. That shark looks so real underwater and above water that there was local fish, a remora, that actually were swimming with the sharks.
It's pretty crazy to animate them, you know. They definitely have a different movement than a lot of animals. We have them lunging out of the water. We have them biting people. We have them definitely creating some damage with the crew. And I think one of the harder parts is actually matching the water splashes to match the water that they're sitting in. Gives you that realistic look that you'll see in the film.
The first 2 weeks were in the water, then we were 2 weeks on the battleship. Those were the most, I believe, the most trying. Because on the barge, you have 100 and something people on a very small platform. Everybody has to be careful, and you have to make sure that everyone's doing what they're supposed to be doing and not being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
We did all of the water work in open water on the ocean, shooting from a platform with our technocrane.
If there's waves, the boat's going to be rocking. Now, you got a jib arm that's extended 30 feet, so even if the boat is rocking a little bit, the jib arm is going to be going woof, woof, so you won't be able to get those steady shots. So I did some research and I looked into a lift boat. And what it is, it's a boat that's got legs. When you get to the location that you're at, you put the legs down and you lift the boat above water. So now you got a steady platform.
The logistics of boat transport from the dock out to the barge and back, and bringing out all of the cast and crew, and servicing food and fuel and everything that's needed. It was a complicated maneuver.
Pete, my man. Hey, Antonio. How are you doing? You are looking fantastic.
The association of the survivors came every day. We have very good relationship with them. They made sure that everything was authentic.
I'd like to give you this book on behalf of Second Watch. It is a book about all the stories of the survivors. It's published in the year 2000 by the survivors. Individual stories. It's called Only 317 Survived.
Many family members of survivors or men lost at sea came to the set also as well. We almost had every day someone coming related to the USS Indianapolis.
My grandfather was on the Indianapolis. He was a signalman, which is very cool for me. He was a signalman 3rd class. He went down with the ship, survived the ordeal, and that kind of became family legacy.
I think it kind of blew Tim and Richard and them away when he finally told them, you know, who he was and how passionate he was about this movie and being a part of it.
My grandpa always wanted to see an Indianapolis movie. I think he always wanted to see a big scale movie doing these men justice, doing the ship justice. They were very proud of the ship.
He's always been interested in his grandfather's story. That even in high school, his grandfather came and spoke to his history class.
Man, what would he say? I don't know. I don't know if he'd say anything or if he'd just sit back and smile.
My impression upon meeting the survivors was that they were remarkably strong individuals. I mean, the fact that they're still with us, having survived that event, that tragedy, and then also well into their 90s, these are very strong, willful people, and I wanted to honor them.
Oh, I'm very happy to meet your grandfather. You know something, this has been an honor for me to play this McVeigh captain, because he just said he was a very nice man and obviously a hero, and your grandpa's a hero, so I'm honored to participate.
You know, if I said that this was an easy shoot, I'd be lying to you. There really isn't any such thing as an underwater microphone that's not a hydrophone. So to capture sound and dialogue, it tend to be very difficult because 90% of the actors are in the water. So we used a combination of quite a few mics in order to do that, and to come up with a design in order to do so took a lot of homework.
The battleship was another logistical problem because of the tight spaces and the heat.
When I went to Alabama the first time, I saw this beautiful ship. It's a different class of ship, but the ship was made approximately the same time, did the same war, pretty much the same battles.
It's hot down there, you know, and we were all sweating, and it's hot in Alabama in general, you know.
You're surrounded by all this steel. It's like this little maze with mice running around. Logistically, like, people could be close to you, but to get a camera or a lens up, that was kind of a struggle.
The actual crew itself that actually works there, they've been amazing. We had to flood it with water. So what we did, we shot the dry stuff in the actual ship, and I designed a brick that we're going to be shooting in the States. It's going to be flooded. We're going to have actors They're inside and we're throwing water as the ship is going down. And we're also created a deck, but it's actually on stage at a 30-degree angle. It's basically green screen except for the doors practical and the railing itself. What we're trying to accomplish is the actual actors, as the ship is going down, their struggle before they jump into the water. We needed something that was tilted so the actors don't have to act, so it'd be more realistic.
It's a primarily a composite shot with some 3D tracking going on that we're taking our boat and putting it on the back wall. It's a fairly straightforward if it's all planned out properly.
I have known a bit about World War II, but not specifically about this story. I started learning about Hashimoto, learning about USS Indianapolis. He was determined and also very careful.
If I may, protocol would be to zigzag, sir.
Not so effective against chitons.
Chitons?
It's a new Japanese weapon, a man-suicide torpedo, like an underwater kamikaze plane.
It's beyond my imagination to be one of those Kaiten torpedo kamikaze pilot. One person could kill 1,000 people. They're focusing on to be able to save all the people they love.
Close to the USS Alabama, they have a submarine that is also managed by two lovely persons, a man and a woman, that have been devoted a big part of their life to maintain it. Then I met a gentleman that, by luck, pure luck, in Alabama, also in Mobile, that is a car collector.
And Mr. Henderson and his collection of incredible vehicles here that are just beautiful and represent the period well.
So I had the submarine, I had the ship, I had the cars, set pieces that will have cost hundreds of millions of dollars to build or to recreate.
I have never worked with anyone with so much energy as Mario. It is really hard to keep up with this man. He has great ideas, enormous energy, and we're getting terrific footage.
I think as a director, I give my actors what I want to receive. It's a lot of communication, a lot of input, try to create a culture of cooperation and an environment where they can do their best work.
And Mario is a brilliant director in multiple ways. He's great with the actors. So one of the things that I think is evident in what he delivers is the actors feel comfortable with him because he comes from an acting background and he is able to direct the actors into the feelings that some other directors don't give to their actors.
He's given us all the freedom we could ask for, as far as ad-libbing, if we're not comfortable with a line and we feel like, we need to give it something more, but still, stay in the concept of that line, he gives us the freedom to go ahead and just kind of, move things around.
The more I direct, the more I let go of the ego of it and go, wow, look at this gift we were given. This actor really brings this quality. Let's let him be the best, or her be the best version of herself. In fact, let's treat the whole narrative. Let's let this movie be the best version of itself. And that means what Mike Mendelsohn brings, or Richard Rionda brings, or Cam, or Tim Cavanaugh, or Nick Cage brings, all those things. And that experience is this film, USS Indianapolis.
Worst moment, we turned it into a positive, was the plane.
Basically, it started to leak, and had a major leak in front and the back of the plane. It started to sink, and they started to take more and more water. So I deployed my safety team. The leaders are basically two former Navy SEALs. The front gear of the plane got stuck in the sand, and so we couldn't move the plane anymore. I had to shut down my production. And to shoot everything that I could without the plane, basically.
It's kind of heartbreaking that the plane survived World War II and it didn't survive landing in Orange Beach.
We've had the help of the Mobile film community, been fantastic, very helpful for the police who block traffic and grant us permission to shoot in some wonderful locations.
We looked at 1945 and went back and looked at some pictures, and we came up with things in Mobile that would favor this period of time. And so we went through the different areas of both counties and found the homes and the sites that they needed.
And Mobile is actually quite a beautiful city and has quite a bit of period architecture that we can take advantage of.
Some scenes I am looking forward to in the movie. We have a Lindy Hop ballroom scene with all of the cast, and they've really been training with the choreographer for quite some time. And part of my job on set is to provide the sound for them to dance to.
Piece of gas.
To prepare for this role, I did a lot of research on the history of the USS Indianapolis itself, but also the time period, and just imagining myself in that day, and even wearing the costumes and getting hair and makeup done, and then walking into the different locations. You just feel it.
It's not just military uniforms, you know, there's many different ones for different occasions. What uniform would they be in this particular scene? Would they be in more formal wear? Are they going to be in combat wear? What about officers and enlisted men? All of those things. Mores are different in the 1940s.
I'm keeping track of everything from wardrobe changes between scenes, since we don't shoot in order, to things like accoutrements, jewelry, watches. So if there are things in the shot that aren't appropriate for the period, anything I can to make sure that we have the best picture possible.
You know, when I walked on set and saw all of the men in their sailor uniforms, there's just this different vibe. It's really incredible. You feel like you're in it.
It was a natural choice to go over there and to record with the City of Prague Philharmonic Orchestra. I thought it would be nice to have that kind of soul that I get by recording in Eastern Europe. And Prague is at the top of the list over there. I brought my engineer as well, Sylvain Lefebvre, who has been recording and mixing all my soundtracks for years, and it went very well. We divided the recording in 4 different large sessions. The first session was oriented with a full extended strict section of 54 strings, plus clarinet and cor anglais, or known as English horn in the US, to focus mainly on the scenes that are nice, soft, gentle background music through the film. And the second day we had a larger 73 or 74 piece orchestra all day, so with the big brass section, the big Simba solo. We do what we call a spotting session with the director, the producers, just to be sure that we agree on the same kind of emotions, feelings that we want the people to feel at that moment in the theater. When I look at the image, sometimes it's just the play of an actor or the silence of an actor, or simply, you know, the movement of the camera, or just the angle of the light that will just, you know, get inside me and bring something out, and that I put on the paper. It's a very nice process, but it's like being in a bubble. It's very intense. Richard Rionda de Castro, the producer, joined us during the recording, and I was very happy because very often the producers are swamped in the post-production process, and it's always very, very nice for them to be able to feel the orchestra, feel the vibration. He spent a lot of time in the room, seated and listening live to the full orchestra. Making a movie and making a beautiful scene is about a collection of talent, from the director of photography, from the makeup, from the actors, from the way the scene was edited, from the emotion that's, they were able to pull out at that moment. And of course, the music is added to that, but it's mainly everything needs to work, and that's the magic of it. So I look more forward to that when I watch a movie and see the audience, and when I see people reacting either with a smile or with a tear, I know that globally the final product works together.
Wife. She's a very powerful presence. I think she's one of those women that is very, very supportive of her husband.
The Indianapolis is a strong ship. She's built like a floating tank. We had survived multiple attacks before, so we had to assess the damage. But we had no electrical.
Did you send the SOS out? Pass the word, abandoned ship!
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Today we're filming the trial of Charles McVeigh, which was very spectacular, and it's been documented pretty well too.
It's been something that I've been, looking forward to seeing for a while.
This man came, the Granville Crane, survivor. He was very pleased by the set and by the courthouse that we had, and thanks to the Film Commission and the judge of Mobile. Everybody was dressed perfectly. Nicolas Cage was at his best, and it was a pretty good moment where 500 people are standing ovation and clap, and this man stand up in front of everyone and salute them. So it was very, very strong.
I like everybody's work that they did. I saw some very familiar men in the Navy, the admirals, and all, and they looked just like them.
The people who survived, one of the characters that they talked about, and one of the people they talked about, was the chaplain of the ship. He was just swimming from raft to raft, praying over people. I think that he really rallied the morale in a crazy situation. I think he gave a lot of people strength that they didn't know they had in order to endure what they went through.
I would talk to the young men who were playing the young sailors, and I would tell them, how many men are you carrying on your back? The guy would say, what do you mean? I said, well, each one of you guys represents about 75 or 85 guys that were in the water, perished or died or survived, and you have to remember you're representing an entire group of people that have no voice.
I mean, everybody came to this movie wanting to give a piece, a piece of them back, to these men. I mean, these men were heroes.
It's a very important movie because just for the guys that died, they get remembered and honored.
I hope that the movie teaches everybody to think twice when they see the guy walking down the street with the World War II hat or the Vietnam veteran hat, or, to stop and say, hey, thanks.
So hopefully with stories like this, we can let some of the truth bleed out into the noosphere so people can, learn about what it is to be human.
You need to do these guys justice, and anything less will have been a failure.
Thoroughly enjoyed my experience working with Mario. I think he's a great director. He's made a lot of outstanding movies for a long time, and I'm glad I'm working on a terrific script with him, so I'm thrilled about that.
The idea that we could take this piece of history that happened in 1945 and do honor to that story and that narrative and that spirit was an awesome challenge, and I think the movie will deliver on that.
I'm not
back to bay.
Damage report. Fire party to the bow. Can anyone hear me? Captain, don't leave us!
And I was gonna make something of myself.
It's okay. Fleet is coming.